So am I just free to start whenever then?
Okay, Zolly, do you want to give him a countdown to when to start?
One second.
Yeah, this is exactly what the game's like to play.
Okay, so
This is all you get in the game. Cool, just wait for Zombie to come back so I can get the timer started at the same time, so we could all just watch this intro.
Beautiful.
It's great.
This intro is very beautiful.
It's great. It shows off the game really well with like a lovely.
Yep. Sorry. You should be here, right? You can talk. No.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That was just a quick confusion with the sound, but welcome everyone. This is the next run. We have StarrlightSims, or SLS, as many people know him, coming up with Harry Potter 6th Gen on the Xbox. So, when you're ready, we can count down.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna just get this run started and then talk about stuff when it's started. Cool. So.
Okay, I'm not gonna do the fancy countdown, but just from the 3 end, you can start on the go.
Yeah, let me just get my...
Okay, I'm gonna get the game sound afterwards, because otherwise you would hear us double. But I'm gonna get the game sound right away as I shut up.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Cool, I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Whenever.
So, 3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
Yeah. Woo. It's gonna be fun. Cool. So, yep, I am StarrlightSims. I run basically any Harry Potter that's not on PC. Any Harry Potter that's not on PC, I've probably done a run of it. So this is Prisoner of Azkaban for Xbox. It's the same on GameCube and PS2. They're the same game. It's just that Xbox has better loads, and it things like opening the pause menu and stuff don't cause it to lag as much. So it's a better version to play on. Yeah, like Anime said as well, it's better to run on the original Xbox as opposed to the 360. Okay, so here we just have to wait for Ron to come and find his rat, so just have to kill time. Scabbers? Cool, so in the first part of the game, what you're meant to do is you're meant to like stand far away and then he'll like open his mouth and then like run around the room. And then as he's running around, you can't hit him, and then once he's landed, he'll come and attack you again. But if you stand in front of him while he's trying to move forward, it blocks his path. So he can't move, so he just opens his mouth straight away, so it saves time. I think we learned that from the TAS, because there was a TAS in the works for this game, which got up to the end of the first spell challenge. But unfortunately, the game doesn't run very well on emulator, so it's not been continued after that point. It was quite a while ago that happened. Also, hopefully the mic and the game sound's not like too imbalanced. You asked for it, Malfoy. Don't stand behind the chair. I don't know why he does that sometimes. Cool, good enough. Yeah, so with these doors, you can literally just sort of stand in front of them and just cast Flipendo continuously. No, easy enough. Yep, no Pumpkinhead. So the enemies have 3 attacks they can do. They can either cast Flipendo at you, they can Expelliarmus to cast your spells back, or they can cast like a pumpkin spell, which turns your head into a pumpkin, which means that you then can't move. Like you can move, you can't cast spells, and you can't run, and it's for like a set period of time. So it's an unfortunate thing to get, because then you get stuck and you can't actually do anything. Luckily, in this first fight, it's not too bad, because it tends to be quite consistent with where they run to and like how many attacks you need to do, so you don't tend to get pumpkin headed. but there's always a risk, especially in a marathon. Marathon runs always go badly. Yeah, it's a shame. It would be a really, like, if it was like a extra spell you could buy from Fred and George, because it seems like a Fred and George spell. Also, yeah, these Dementors are really nice. I think in terms, like, comparing this game to the PC game, things like this look a lot more scary, I think. Also, this is the fun part. We get to drag Harry around. And don't worry, you'll see this more later on in the game. They like to bring this back. So, fun thing, there's like, for some reason, there's a trigger along this bit of the hallway, where if you press A on a specific frame, it will make you drop Harry and pick him up again straight away. It loses time. It's completely useless, but it's a stupid thing to do.
None of us is hiding Sirius Black under our cloaks.
What's the other spell? Is that a 100% spell?
Harry! Harry! Are you alright?
What? Are you okay?
But yeah, so we're done with the train now.
What
Harry's
happened?
passed out.
Screamed. No one screamed.
He's
But I heard
come back to
screaming.
life. Lupin's saved him,
It'll help.
given him a chocolate frog from his pocket, because that's how you treat
One of
students.
the Dementors of Azkaban.
Are you sure you're okay, Harry?
Fine. Take this.
Fine.
Harry. I'm
And
sure
Lupin also
you'll
gives us a
help.
book.
It has a few pages missing, but I'm sure you'll be able to find them at Hogwarts.
Cool. So, if anyone, I believe anime ran 100% in this at the last Potterthon. Correct me if I'm wrong. And there's been a few new skips found since that run that you'll be seeing in this run, which save a bit of time here and there. They're quite cool. They're a bit flashy. They can sometimes be very stupid and lose you a ton of time, but we're going to go through them anyway. Because what is a marathon without going for stupid strats?
Harry, did you have a look at the Folio Brutai that Lupin gave you then? No, not yet. Come
Cool,
on,
so the
have a look
first
at it then. Show
first
it
thing
to
we're going to
me.
do is coming up here. What you can do is you're meant to show Ron this book,
Come on, show me
but if you show him the book while you open the door,
That's wicked. We're going
sometimes...
so
No, I missed the timing.
Let's go show
Sometimes it can open the door, like... What it does is it causes the door to open, but it doesn't cause that transition to happen, so you can just walk straight through. It saves like a second, but it can be annoying to time.
Sorry, I'm really busy at the moment.
So unfortunately we didn't get to see it.
Work to do.
And it doesn't come up
But
ever again in the
you
run.
know you said you had lots of trouble with Draco on the train.
Yes.
Well, you
The
could make
glitches are the
so
same
much
between
easier
all
yourself
three.
with
I think
Expelliarmus
some of them have different
stuff.
crashes.
The spell books over
Like some of
there.
them crash for different reasons.
Thanks.
But if you're in terms of like doing a speed run, they all work the same. There's a very new
I
glitch,
remember.
like a very new glitch
Expelliarmus
that
spell.
I've currently not been able to get on Xbox at all, but other people have got on GameCube, so we'll see what happens with that, because that might be something that's harder on certain consoles. I forgot to swap to Expelliarmus here. I normally swap to Expelliarmus when I go through that loading zone, but I forgot.
Okay then, you cast Rependo at me, and I'll try and use Expelliarmus. Come on, cast. That's it.
Thank you. It wasn't targeting Ron for some reason. Doing well.
Right, now it's my turn. I'll cast Rependo at you, and you use Expelliarmus to knock my
My spells away.
Get ready then. 3, 2,
Come on, Ron.
1.
You can sometimes get a double hit on Ron here, but it can be annoying. I'm not entirely sure how it works exactly,
That was cool. Hey, I've got
but
an
you
idea.
can
Let's
get
go
it
see
so it
Tony's
registers
door.
2 hits instead of 1. Also, a fun, well not fun, but a soft lock you can do is if you try and open that door before the cutscene loads of Ron telling you to leave, the door becomes untriggerable because it's constantly being interacted with sort of state. So you can't actually go through the door unless you reload the room. And that can actually cause a soft lock later on with a separate room entirely that you can do the same thing on. Fun. This game is basically just soft locks and crashes. With a few cool skips in between. Also, we get Peeves in this game, which is great. Everyone loves Peeves. So this book's slightly different. He'll shoot like fireworks at you and you have to shoot them back. Luckily, the spot it spawns you in the room is the perfect spot to do it from. If you're too close or too far away, it won't hit the book properly. Oh, is the timer gone? That's annoying. I don't have a timer running, so I can't help out here.
Let's go and find Fred and George. Thanks for sorting out Peeves, by the way. You really know how to cast that Expelliarmus spell.
Have to retime it after if it's a good run. Be a free world record because it will be no time. So a lot of the skill in running the 6th gen games is knowing where the camera is going to be after cutscenes and after going through doors. Because like sometimes you'll run forwards into a cutscene, and if you hold forward, you end up going like back from where you came from, or you end up going off to the right and like jumping off a cliff. So you just have to be aware constantly of sort of like where you need to hold after a cutscene's finished or after you go through a loading zone.
So there's an entrance to a secret passage in here?
Yes, indeed there is, young Harry. And we're sure that one of you will be able to find it.
Okay, so now we're introduced to swapping characters, which we can do in this game. You can play as Harry, Ron, and Hermione. In terms of differences between the characters, Ron is the only one who can find these secret passages. So you have to be Ron to find the secret passages. And then Harry and Hermione can ride on Buckbeak, but Ron can't. So if you want to go on Buckbeak, you have to be Harry or Hermione. And then the other difference that's quite major for this run is their running speed. So it never actually says it in-game. But Anime, who is incredibly talented at this game and was world record holder until very recently, he timed all the running speeds and found that Harry runs the fastest, and then it's Ron, and then Hermione is ridiculously slow. So you want to try and not be Hermione as much as possible. Hermione is the worst character in this game. She is useless. Honestly, the only reason Anime doesn't have world record is because I used a ton of new strats and he hasn't had a chance to do runs of the game since then. It's literally the only reason. I would not have world record otherwise. So here we have Doxies. So we can just target them and knock them out of the air. Ideally, you want them to be over the pits. No, target that one. Because if they are over the pits, they fall to their death straight away. Whereas if they land on the platforms, you have to hit them again to kill them, so it loses time. So ideally, you'd want all 5 to be flying over the pits. Oh, Anime's coming back. Cool, this is my last day of having world record then. It was nice while it lasted.
Friends must work together.
Cool, so this room actually has a new skip in it. We recently discovered a new way to sort of do out-of-bound movement, which you'll see here. It's the first instance of a super slide. So what you can do is when you walk into characters, they'll back up like this, and you can use that animation to get them to slide through walls. Oh, where am I? No. Okay, that was my fault. I went too far. That's really annoying. That's a shame, because that's going to screw up the skip again. Yeah, I can't do it again. Cool.
I need someone to help me with this.
So, what's meant to happen there is if you go out of bounds to a certain point and then swap back and forth between characters, it will make the character who's out of bounds sort of like jump up to the ledge above, which basically means we can skip all of this. However, no, don't jump, Harry.
I really don't like the look of that.
However, because we fell out of bounds there, it changes Ron's AI. So super sliding, which is the thing you saw where you walk into the other character and they slide backwards, and they can sometimes clip through stuff. That's only possible RTA really, if the AI is in a standing still sort of like state. So that certain rooms activate that state. So this room does. There's some rooms later on which do, which are very important. But unfortunately, if you reload this room, so even if you save and quit and reload, or you die and reload, the AI of the characters changes from being standing still to exploring. And the exploring AI means that you can't physically do the skip. You can in TAS, but I'm not a TAS. But that would have just skipped carrying that crate over and climbing up and moving the light.
Make sure you don't fall off. Thanks for your concern,
You'll see some more super slides later that save more time and are less risky.
There's no way I'm going to get back through there.
Cool, so now we've lost Ron.
Know that
So we can't
help
use Ron
is
anymore.
Always at hand for every true mischief maker.
You grab these owl troops. Actually, that's true. You don't. There's actually more than 3 players you can be. You can also play as Hedwig, and you can also fly Buckbeak. So you have 5 different characters you need to control in this game. Can I get this? Come on. Cool. So this fight, if you stand in certain positions at a certain distance, it's like it locks the monster book into a constant attacking. Similar to the train one, but just slightly different. You can't stand right next to it because you have to Expelliarmus the spells back. So you have to sort of stand enough distance away that when you Expelliarmus it back, it does hit, but also not too far away that he runs away. It's nice. Fun trying to weigh stuff up. Cool, so rather than just hold B to fly, what we do is we constantly press the B button, as you can see on the thing on the right. I'm constantly pressing it because it's slightly faster. You don't really notice it here, but there's a mini game called Owl Racing, which is one of the worst things in 6th gen Harry Potter speedruns. You don't do it in any percent, luckily. It's only 100%. It's only in 100%. But it's really noticeable in that how, like, if you're going faster when you're doing that. Oh, time's back. Cool, so now we've got the Marauders map. So we solemnly swear we're up to no good.
Surreptitiousness.
And what the Marauders map does is it gives us a little mini map in the corner of the screen. There, so you can see there we've got a map to show us what we're doing. Okay. Cool. So if you go into these like lines of sight, you get sent back to the beginning of the room. It is possible with tasks to jump through them, but it's super precise and not RTA viable in the slightest, but it is possible. Okay, so there's a little skip coming up here. We're meant to go all the way around this room to skip Snake. It's not going to work. Yeah, for some reason, sometimes he turns the other way by accident. It's my fault. So what we want to do here, there we go. That should work. I'm not good at this skip. Try that again. I'll play it safer. What is happening? I can't play this game apparently. There we go. So how it works in this game with prefects and Snape and anyone you're trying to not be caught by.
We're sure to have something of interest.
And
If you cast Flipendo,
Your rememberall's
the
fresh.
when
George, have a
Flipendo
look at your task
hits
list and
the
see what it
object it's
is.
hitting and makes the noise and everything,
Thought so.
at that point, the game looks at where you are in relation to the prefect. So if you're on the right hand side or the left hand side of the
Harry and
prefect,
Ron got up bright and early
and
in
then after
preparation
that
for their
it
first
turns
defense
the
against
prefect in the
dark
direction that
arts.
you are
However,
at
not
that point.
everyone was
So
quite
if
as
you are on the right
mindful.
side of the prefect when the spell hits, the prefect will turn to the right. If you're on the left, the prefect will turn to the left.
Dark arts class. Hurry
And that's
up.
basically how you manip the prefects. It can be annoying
I'm on
sometimes,
my way.
like you saw just there. Cool, yeah, so Hermione is super slow, so we run her down the stairs and then swap back to Harry straight away. Because we don't want to play as Hermione. Hermione is the worst character. Everyone sleeps in their robes. Yeah, that as well. Their trigger window also decreases.
He's been acting so strangely since we came to Hogwarts.
I'm worried about Scabbers. Everyone's worried about Scabbers. Cool. So, we are off to learn our first proper spell in our first spell challenge. So, this game has a different spell order to the PC game. PC, I believe you learn Carpe Retractum first. I don't know, I've never actually played HP3 on PC. Sorry. Bad Harry Potter fan. Yeah, so on PC you learn Carpe first. On this you learn Glacius first. So we're going to head into the Glacius challenge.
Hermione,
We do learn Carpe in this game, but not for a while.
would you come here, please?
And it's not as cool as it is in PC.
I would like you to go in there and bring back the glacier.
Yeah, we'll get to that point. So how spell challenges work is there's meant to be like you do a ton of like platforming and exploration and going through a dungeon. And then near the end of the dungeon, you then get given a book with the spell in you learn. And then you head back to the beginning of the dungeon, you fight a boss, and you leave the dungeon. So basically you do an entire dungeon without the spell. And then you learn the spell and then you fight a boss with the new spell. So here we have to do a pixie fight, which is really annoying. So the thing pixies can do is they can pick up your friends. It's completely random if they fly over and pick them up. Sometimes they can just not pick them up at all. Come on, Hermione. Thank you. Cool, so remember that cauldron. That cauldron will be important later on. Needs to be Harry. They are strong. They're three 13-year-olds lifting a heavy iron cauldron all by themselves. They're very strong. I love it. Their voice lines are set a lot of the time, but they just say really stupid stuff. So here, we're going to hit this switch, and what that does, it makes this light happen, but it also changes the AI of the characters from exploring to stationary, which is super important for doing this next part. So what we're going to do, let's put Harry in this corner here. That's not going to work. Oh, it did. Okay. Cool. So, what we've done is we've basically skipped the entire dungeon. So, normally what you're meant to do is you're meant to move the mirrors as Harry, do like a loop of the dungeon, then you're meant to do another loop of the dungeon, and then you open up this area. But by doing that super slide, we skip all of that. And also it means that normally you're not... Normally you're meant to just have Hermione in this area. But you can bring Harry all the way through. Which also means you can skip Hermione's puzzle here. So it also saves more time as well because you can skip doing some block pushing. Yeah, I'm sorry, Wizard. I'll go back and do it properly. So yeah, so that skips basically the entire dungeon. And Harry just sort of stands there awkwardly. Inside of Hermione. Harry's just looking at that. Sorry. PG stream. Oops. I mean, I heard what Liam was saying. It's not a PG stream. Cool, so now we have Glacius. And what Glacius allows us to do is to freeze stuff. Funnily enough. So it allows us to defeat fire enemies and also freeze any lava or water we come across. A lot of the time it's water. In this dungeon it's lava. Cool. Also you can... If you cast Flipendo while you're going through those shields, you can't pick up the shields. It just displaces where the shield is. It doesn't save any time. And it's also something you don't want to do in 100% because you can't get 100%. Cool. So most people push these blocks. You can actually just Flipendo them. Nope. Face the other way. Thank you. Cool. And also here, there's another little glitch you can do. You don't have to push it all the way. You can just put it here and press the switch. And it saves a bit of time as well because you don't have to climb down off the block. Oh, thanks, Hermione. Cool. So now we're back into, as you can see, we're back in like the middle room that we were in before. We come back here. We're meant to come back here like 4 or 5 times, but this is the last time we'll be here. That's just quicker than jumping all the way down. So with these salamanders, you want... Oh, no, that one. Thank you. With these salamanders, what you want to do is put out the fire pits first. Because if you defeat a salamander while the fire pit is still active... Harry, where are you going? Harry, can you help out, please? If you try to kill a salamander while a fire pit's active, it just spawns another salamander. So you want to, anytime salamanders appear, you want to get rid of the fire pits first and then do the salamanders. Cool, so we're actually done with this dungeon pretty much. We just got a boss fight now. But yeah, that skip takes a quite annoying dungeon. It's quite long and quite annoying and makes it really short. And here comes the cauldron, which is actually evil and possessed. Because why not? It's Harry Potter. Cool, so what you want to do here is just cast a Pendo until it comes out of this animation. It'll like go back to the middle of the room. Come on, go back to the middle of the room. Thank you. And then it will try and kill you. You can, a lot of the time you can stand right next to its foot and then it can't hit you. Cool. So what it's going to do is you're going to destroy each of its hands and then you're going to destroy it itself. Cool, so can I get this again? Sometimes it doesn't work very well. No, I didn't get it. I'm sorry, I don't know what the cauldron is. I don't think the cauldron has one, to be honest. It's an inanimate object. That is animate. So it's not an animate object. Ignore me. Cool, so this one's a bit longer. It's going to do more attacks now. We just run in circles though. Nice. This game is actually, like, for a movie tie-in game, is surprisingly well made. Like, it looks very nice, actually. And I personally think it's aged quite well. Like, I don't think it looks horribly outdated. I think that's something that HP2 suffers from. It just doesn't look as good now as it probably would have done when it came out. It's also a fun speedrun, which is always nice.
Harry, Ron, Hermione, an excellent performance. 50 house points for Gryffindor.
Cheers,
That is
Lupin.
all for today. Class dismissed. Harry,
Can you show me how you made the Dementor back off?
I don't pretend to be an expert at fighting Dementors, Harry, but I'll try and help. But not right now.
Not right now,
I have a
Harry.
lot to do, and I chose a
Go
very
away.
inconvenient time to fall ill. I will get a message to you when I'm feeling better.
Come on, Harry. It's potions next.
I think the thing I always notice about old games is that hands tend to look awful. Like, hands just tend to not be done very well at all. Cool. Cool. We have basically nothing for like 2 minutes now, so I don't know. I'll talk about the history of the game, I guess. So, try to remember back. The first run of this game was actually done in 2015, I believe, which was on PS2. It was by me, funnily enough, and it was like a 313, if I remember correctly. And then some other stuff happened. Anime came along, destroyed the game, and that's the history of this game. No, I think I'm pretty sure. What's his name? The guy who does Jet Set Radio. He had world record in this game, didn't he? He ran it at Potterthon, actually. Back when world record was like a 2:55. 2 worlds, yeah. 2 worlds. 2 worlds came and got the world record because he ran on Xbox. And then he ran this at like Potterthon 3 or something. And then Anime came along and just basically destroyed this game completely. And I came back and learnt Anime strats and then took world record back.
The Wigan Weld potion will heal most common injuries. The more attentive of you will remember.
Harry is fairly quiet in this game.
Told you we had potions.
Well, sort of.
Freshly stripped bark of the Wigan tree. Mr. Weasley.
Cool. So, it's what you've all been waiting for since it happened on the train. You've all missed it. You've all wanted it. It's the best part of this game. We get to drag Harry across the room. Because who doesn't want to drag Harry across a room?
Settle down, Mr. Malfoy. Bring him here. Right, Mr. Weasley. If you pay attention.
It's really stupid that you can't just go and grab the potions from the front of the classroom and then just go back to Harry.
Administer the Wigan.
Like, honestly, it's used a couple of times in this game, and every single time it's used, it's just really awful. And they just keep bringing. I don't mind it on the train because it sort of makes sense, but they just put it in here for no reason.
Weasley give you a full explanation, although his incompetence speaks for itself. Thanks to Mr. Weasley's little sideshow, we no longer have time for the rest of the lesson. So, you will now.
So bear in mind, they've literally just arrived at the lesson. Ron knocked a potion over, took Harry to the front of the classroom, and Snape's like, "Oh, we're done now. No more time." I just think Snape doesn't want to teach, to be honest.
Billywig stings, Chiz-purple carapaces, and the horn of a graphorn. Class dismissed.
Well, that's annoying, anime. This game does lots of like stupid stuff like that, where it'll be like, "Nope, you don't get this anymore."
Thanks a lot, Weasley. I'm really sorry.
Don't worry. Let's go outside.
Well, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, me too. I think we should
So who said they were donating for every time that Ron said he was tired? Because enjoy this game.
Snape's next potions class. What do you think, Harry? Harry?
Should we get the ingredients? Nah, let's just end day. We're done.
The house point totals are to be counted. Slytherin, Ravenclaw.
All three of the 6th gen games. The only way you can end a day is by Ron going, "Ugh, I'm tired. I think we should all turn in." And then Hermione does like a, what's he on about? Look.
Harry continued to worry about
Also,
the Dementors
what I love about this game is that like
black.
some stuff they really worked
Having
hard
other
on.
things to think about
But
as
there's
well.
things like Harry sitting down on the sofa there. He's like, his entire robe is just in the sofa. And it happens a lot throughout this game. Like, objects will just clip through other objects when they make them sit down or sort of walk through stuff. Or there's some scenes where all the characters float off the ground as well.
You and me then, Ron.
After Christmas, they all float off the ground in that cutscene. Hermione's studying. We can't go and disturb her. Which is good, because Hermione is completely useless. So it's fine. Screw Hermione. We don't want her. She only holds us back. Play a game. Every time you find a cutscene mistake, take a shot. I'm not encouraging drinking. Twitch terms and conditions. Every time you see a mistake, donate $1. Favorite line in the entire game?
Did you see his Potter and Weasley?
Did you see his Potter and Weasley?
Keep out of the
Yeah,
way.
so there's the pumpkin. There we go. Where's the other one? Okay, that was it. No, hit it. What? How? This has been awful. That was an awful fight. That was terrible.
Go on, clear off, Malfoy.
Got pumpkined a lot.
We did it!
Yeah, but we've still got to save Neville from the ghoul.
What would be cool is if you could Expelliarmus the pumpkin spell, so it pumpkins them, but you can't. Cool, so obviously this game makes sense, so now we're going to fight a magic accordion. I think it's actually a speaker. No, it is an accordion. And some magic guitars. Oh, you can. That's good to know. Cool, I should probably do that then at some point. Because it happens a lot. I should do it in, Shrieking Shack. Ah.
It's okay.
So that Jack in the Box is super interesting. For some reason, sometimes in the cuts, sometimes in that like bit where you walk over to the Jack-in-the-Box. Sometimes it's closed, sometimes it's open. I have no clue why that happens. Anime might. I actually have no clue. It's really weird. Cool, so now we learn Ron's, like quote-unquote useful spell.
To be something in here I can use.
Ron gets to learn Lumos, because why not? It's actually Lumos Duo, I think. Is the actual name of it in the game. As you can tell, I know so much about this game. Oh, in-game dialogue's really weird. So you can use Lumos to hit these things, which then causes them to become solid. And then you can hit them with Flipendo twice.
Oh no, there's more.
No. Also, there's a bit of tech I'm doing with this spell, actually, that I always forget to mention. So normally when you cast Lumos Duo, there's like a really long animation of it charging up. If you tap the Lumos button twice in quick succession, it skips that animation and just makes it automatically start going. To be fair, I've died in this room during actual speedruns. I haven't recently, but I used to a lot. Cool, so we can actually glitch this next bit coming up. By turning the mirror first, it causes Ron to warp. Because it expects you to do the mirror second, so Ron just warps to where he's meant to be. Oh, so I broke this fight in practice. I was practicing this game the other day, and for some reason this fight just did not start. Like, I came out of that door and they all just stayed there and did nothing. It was really weird. I haven't noticed. This is my first playthrough. This is a blind playthrough. How am I doing? Oh, fun fact. This door that we go through just now isn't on properly. So if you actually stand next to it, there's a gap between the door and the wall that's really huge that you can... There, you can see it there. It's not lined up properly with the doorway. So now we fight this killer robot. It's because you're meant to like come back here in 100% and there's like stuff you can get in this area. And those other rooms have extra bits in them that you can get to get cards and beams and stuff. Okay, so now we have one hit left, so I'm going to stand super close because it just puts us in a better position in a sec. Cool, and obviously defeating that robot caused the head to stop the train, which means that we can now cast on the train to open up the jail to trap the ghoul. Because this game makes sense. Yeah, so like here, you can't actually grab the shield because you've got a spell going. Should have gone the other way around.
It's working.
Cool. Get in the jail. Sometimes when you're doing that, if you're not casting, if you're like not casting when it's in there, it can go in there but not hit the trigger, so you have to get it back out again and go in. It's rare that happens, but it can happen. Cool, swap back to Harry because Harry is faster. And this is basically all we do. Like, now we're just going to go back to the common room and leave.
Can we go back now, please?
Do you know what? You're asking questions that should have sensible answers, but they don't. I'm trying to think, because there's another place that a similar thing can happen. I'm trying to think what game it is. But like, if you're casting a spell, it sometimes doesn't work. And I think it's in HP1. There's a point where something similar happens. Cool. So now we've found Neville. We're going to go back to the common room.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Find her.
You'll be lucky.
What do you mean, Peeves?
Ashamed, your headship, sir, doesn't want to be seen. So I'm running for the landscape on the 4th floor. Crying something dreadful. Poor thing.
Don't get me started on the tapestry in HP2. It's the stupidest thing out of all the games. It's the stupidest quest to try and like force you to learn it. At least things like this conceivably, Neville was getting bullied and could have got stuck with that ghoul. That tapestry in HP2, I do not buy for a second they could not just lift it up.
And to that effect, Sir Cadogan will be standing in for the...
Hermione was studying in the dormitory.
Now, I know you're all still very worked up about what's happened, but my advice would be for you all to go to bed.
I love the fact that, like, it's nighttime and Harry and Ron come back from being, like, off in another area of the castle and no one really cares. They're like, okay, cool.
The school talked of nothing but Sirius Black following his assault on the fat lady. But with their first ever Care of Magical Creatures lesson fast approaching,
Make sure we
Harry
follow that back.
prodded Hermione's attention.
The cinematic camera.
Hagrid doesn't have a
They're gonna follow them down the stairs.
dangerous.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's get to the class early so that we can give Hagrid some support.
It's his first
Okay.
lesson, and he's probably more nervous than we are.
So for some reason in this game, a lot of the time when it starts a new day, it makes you be Hermione. It's actually quite a weird thing they did. Because you'd think in a Harry Potter game that they make Harry Potter the default character. But they don't. Nope. Cool. Okay, so there is a new glitch coming up. It can be a bit finicky sometimes, but hopefully I get it fairly quickly. I'll explain it after I do it.
Hermione,
Be with you.
hey, come over here. Uh-huh.
Cool. So. What you can do, if you get Ron or Hermione in the right place, you can squeeze yourself between the banister and your other party member.
Hermione,
And
I'm sorry to
what it
say,
does is it means that you can keep going forward, but it doesn't change your height. So you can get onto the banister of the stairs. And then you can jump off. The optimal way of doing it is you can, if you get a good angle. I'm going the right way, aren't I? It's Buckbeak next. Yeah. If you get an optimal angle, you can jump, like, fall onto the banister, and then you fall off the banister, and you don't, like, have the damage animation. Saves a bit of time. But yeah, we do that optimally 4 times in the run. I might skip one of them for safety, because you take a lot of damage doing it. But that's a fairly new skip that was found by Anime, help me with names. It was found by someone who new to the Discord. They just sort of came in and they talked about that, and also something else as well, probably. I think there was another glitch they also found, but that was the main one.
Meet Buckbeak.
I think it was Cosmic.
First thing you gotta know about hippogriffs.
It's in the Discord.
Proud. You always wait for a hippogriff to make the first move. It's polite, see? You walk towards him, and you bow and you wait. If he bows back, you're allowed to touch him. Harry, Ron, Hermione. Who
Cool.
wants to go
So like I said earlier, only Harry and Hermione have the ability to ride Buckbeak. So you have to use one of those two. You can't use Ron. We have to make sure we bow. Have to always be polite. The dormitories make no sense to me because it's like there's 2 rooms and each of them has 6 beds in. I think it'll be 5 actually. How many students are there in Gryffindor?
Right. Catch as many as you can.
Like seriously.
You'll need to give Beaky a bit
Cool.
of
So
a
this
run
is
before you
stupid.
can
This
get
mini game.
airborne. Then just
What you have
fire
to
the
do is you have
bats.
to use
Beaky
Buckbeak
will
to
do
catch
best.
some bats. You only have to catch like I think the minimum is 7. Oh, that was nearly good. But the bats, the spawn point for the bats is completely random each time. That was actually fairly decent. So they spawn in a completely random place each time, and their flight pattern's completely random. So you have to react to what you get given.
Not bad. You might want to get a little more practice. I'll give you a C for trying.
We've got a C. Nice. I'll take the C.
Good work.
Give me a go at that thing. This'll be easy. You're not dangerous at all, are you? You ugly great brute.
Malfoy, no!
Malfoy, no! Cool. So coming up we have Quidditch. Quidditch in this game is just as spectacular as it is in the PC version. They're like, comparing between them, they both play exactly the same.
Harry made his way to the Quidditch match, unaware that events that day would take an even worse turn. As the Gryffindor team struggled against the weather, Harry caught sight of a giant black dog high in the stands. An eerie silence fell across the stadium, and a horribly familiar wave of cold swept over him.
Yeah, it's literally just this cutscene.
Dementors swarmed over the
great.
pitch, and with his mother's
Don't have to do anything.
screaming in his ears, Harry
I prefer
fell
this
from his
to
throne.
the mess that is Quidditch in HP2 6th Gen. Chamber of Secrets on Xbox and GameCube, that Quidditch is awful. Like,
Harry
truly
slept
awful.
restlessly in the hospital wing, sinking into dreams full of clammy, rotted hands and petrified teeth. He could hear voices whispering, but they made no sense whatsoever.
It's Ron.
Ron? Quiet. I know where Sirius Black is. He's down in the dungeons.
Okay, let's follow Ron. We're already going to go and find Sirius Black. It's very early to be finding Sirius Black.
Ron?
I guess Ron knows what he's doing though. So we'll trust him. We'll follow him to Sirius Black.
Oh no.
It's Jellylegs Jinx.
Weasley, oh, you're going to cry.
That was bad. I cast far too early.
You're starting to panic. I think
To be fair, actually at this point I think the class sizes aren't that big because obviously there's been the Death Eaters and they've killed a ton of people. So there's not many kids left, to be honest.
Stop him! Weasley, you're in a state.
This is all this fight is. We just cast Rependo at Peeves a couple of times. So in this room, once you defeat Peeves, it unlocks that door. But if you're opening the door whilst the cutscene for defeating Peeves plays, you softlock the game. Because you can't go through that door and there's no other way out of this room because both the pathways are blocked off by these bookcases. So you have to sort of just not go through the door. It's really, yeah. Don't try and go through the door while the cutscene's finishing.
Ron, about out Sirius Black. He's in the dungeons. Come on.
He's in the dungeon. Cool. So now we just follow Ron all the way down. I like the fact that they didn't bother designing like little like out of bound boxes behind the door so it looked like you were actually walking into places. They just sort of left it as an empty void. Like you just walk into this like blue void or out of this blue void. Don't bother actually trying to put stuff into the game. Where's Ron taking us? Wait, Ron. I can't run very fast. I've just, like, had a huge accident on my broom. And I'm also wearing a dressing gown and slippers.
Ron, what are you doing? We can't take on Sirius Black on our own. Come on.
Come on. Cool. There's Ron.
Look, we've got to get Professor Dumbledore. Oh, you shut up. He's in the corner. Go on.
What corner? There's a giant hole. Ron literally just said he's in the corner. What? What just happened?
Ron?
No. I never saw that coming.
I think we're even now.
Crazy. Who would have guessed that?
Black, drag you off into the night. Good night.
Oh, there's actual Ron.
How did you know where I was? Peeves. He couldn't wait to tell someone what Draco was up to. I brought your stuff, including the Marauder's map.
Oh, good. Thanks, Ron. I knew you'd need a full set of clothes, so I bought you a full set of clothes. No, there we go. Good thing Ron did come, because we'd be stuck in here otherwise. Ron, move out the way. Ron, move out the way. Okay. This corridor's actually super annoying. So these goblins, they can throw stink pellets at you. And if they hit you, you get stunned for a couple of seconds. Ideally, you can get down there without getting hit at all. But normally you get hit once or twice.
I don't suppose this place gets many visitors. It's horrible.
Luckily, here deep in the dungeons of Hogwarts, there's an owl treat and an owl post. So we can call Hedwig.
Hedwig!
Conveniently. Because that makes sense. There he is. They literally couldn't think of any other way to get Hermione into the game again, so they were like, let's put Hedwig in the dungeons. Okay, I'm really bad at this flying section, so bear with me.
Go up the stairs.
I find it really annoying to try and go up. Like if you hold to go up, sometimes it just doesn't go up very well. So Hedwig's literally just flown out of the dungeons. He's had to fly up all the sets of stairs, through doors, into the dormitory. Rather than just fly back up the hole he came from.
You should still be in the hospital wing.
Long story. And one that involves Malfoy and Polyjuice potion.
Oh good, Hermione's here.
Let's hurry up and get out of here.
Hermione comes down just to be like, let's go. It's like, great Hermione, we hadn't thought of that one. To be fair, It's a good thing she did, because she's the only one who fits through this gap.
Hermione, can you squeeze through
She's the only skinny one, so she's the only one who can crawl under those gaps.
Careful, Hermione.
I think we've got to get to that switch.
Okay, so
Red cats.
I did this wrong. So we want to freeze these waterfalls. And this is basically what Glacis is used for a lot in this game, just freezing mini waterfalls so you can climb up them. Later on there's a really fun challenge with Glacius and Pixies, and it's really great. It's really fun. Okay, can I get this? No. There we go. Good enough. Cool. So, we're going to learn another spell. And what we learn is Reparo. So now we can basically fix boxes, we can fix bridges. Can't fix the relationship, Hermione's relationship with her parents after the 7th book, but what can you do? Hello. I pressed the spell. Cool. So that's basically all we can do with the spell. Oh, okay, fine. Normally you can hit that without moving. Whatever. Here, if you turn away, you fall off. Rather than climbing all the way back down again. A lot of time saving in this game comes from basically breaking the character's legs so they don't have to climb down steps. Nice.
Did you find anything?
Did you find anything, Hermione?
Brilliant. Can he reach that switch and get us out of here?
Cool, so we want to be Ron. Because we need Lumos again.
Nice one. I hope this means we
Because
can all get out of here now.
there's more of these. I can't remember what they're called. Someone probably knows.
I need some help.
Try and keep out of the way.
Cool. So if a character dies, normally they come back to life if you defeat all the enemies in the room.
What are those?
They'll come back with like a tiny slither of health.
Don't you read anything?
Or if you leave them dead for a while, they'll come back with a tiny slither of health as well. Okay, so something cool you can do in this game that not many people might know. If you press the white button, you can move the camera. I don't know if that's possible on GameCube. I'm going to wait to be safe. You can technically go through those tiny gaps, but it's annoying. And if you get caught, you have to go all the way back to the beginning of that first room. I didn't until I was messing around with it. You can do it in all the rooms, basically. Like, most of the big rooms you can do that in.
Thanks, Hermione. You really saved us.
Oh, I've just remembered. We still haven't got any Graphorn Horn for Snape's potions.
I mean, we haven't got anything for Snape's Potions class Hermione, so...
Where did you... Draco. He dropped it.
Ron, you're a...
No, you're right. I corrected myself. It only works in, like, normally big rooms. So, like, it works in this... It works in the Great Hall, the Grand Hall here, the Entrance Hall. I can't speak. It works in the Dungeon Hallway. It works in a couple of other places. It works on the Grand Staircase.
winter came to Hogwarts.
Yeah, so in this
The
cutscene,
sky lightened to a
that character's
dazzling
floating,
opaline white, and the
that character's
muddy
in the
grounds
floor.
were hidden beneath a blanket of soft snow. Inside the castle, there was a buzz of Christmas in the air.
Very well designed.
By worries over Professor Snape's imminent potions class.
Well, we got the Graphorn horn, but last time I checked, we were still missing some of the other ingredients.
We better go and find them before we go to Snape's class then.
Yeah, let's go. Cool. So there's actually, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go and get potion ingredients for Snape's class. We've actually changed the route fairly recently to save a bit of time on collecting the potions, and it abuses the fact that when you are on Buckbeak, the other characters don't move. It's a not a huge time save, but it's a time save nonetheless. We're going to do the jump here again.
Hey, come over here.
Yes.
Hopefully this works. Come on. Come on. Thank you. Slow, but better. The reason that saves time, more than just the fact you don't have to climb down the stairs. The stairs are actually, obviously, because they're the moving stairs, 2 of the sets of stairs move up and down. And if you combine that with the fact that there's random students walking up and down the stairs and their movement is random, sometimes you can be stuck just waiting for stairs for like 10 to 15 seconds. Because the stairs are moving and the other students are on them and you cannot get them off the other students. So it also eliminates that RNG and stair moving. It's really nice.
Do you think Scabbers has been looking ill lately?
No offense, Ron, but Scabbers didn't look that healthy to begin with.
Maybe
Yeah,
I should
Ron.
change his diet or something.
You could try, but I can't see it's going to do much for him, to be
Cool.
honest.
So what the route used to be here is we used to go to like, there's a beacon over there. I don't know if you can see it through the trees.
Do you think Hagrid can help?
There, you used to go over there first and then grab Buckbeak and then do all the Buckbeak stuff. And then Death Abuse after grabbing the flying creatures above the lake. The run's been okay, Whip. It's not been great, but it's not been awful. However, we changed that route slightly. So what we actually do now is we go and grab the flying things first, then we land and do Hermione's stuff. And because Harry and Ron don't move while you're on Buckbeak, it means that they stay relatively close to the Lumos trigger. So these can be annoying.
A billywig.
Sometimes you can just go into them and not grab them at all.
Just one more and we'll have enough.
Where's the other one?
That's it.
There we go.
We have all
That was
the
fairly decent. Yeah, sometimes you can literally like fly straight into them and you just bounce off. It's really stupid. Land. Okay, that's good enough.
I think
Cool.
this is where we can get fire seeds. A fire seed. Just one more and that's it. We have all the fire seeds we need.
Come on, Ron. Yeah, so you can see, like, we are still really close to here. So we can just run straight back here. Ron doing a good job of keeping up.
Aren't those Chispurfles under those bushes? How do you think we get them out of there?
So sometimes, for some reason, these can soft lock. Like, sometimes you can literally not be able to collect these potion ingredients. Because this plant does decide not to work. This other plant is broken. Like, I've only ever had it do stuff once, I think, in a run. It just doesn't spawn properly.
Jizz Purple Carapace.
Okay, also, if you Lumos your friends, they duck constantly. Like that. Oh, it's opened. Yay. Time save. Where is it? There.
Just one more and we'll have enough. That's it. We have all the Jizz
Cool.
Purple Carapaces we need.
So now that we've got all the potion ingredients, what we're going to do is I'm going to go and drown ourselves. And that just means that we can get back to this doorway quicker. So what the route used to be is we used to get the Lumos plants first. And then we used to get the Glacius thing. And then we used to get the flying bugs and then land Buckbeak and just walk into the lake. But that way, the way we do it now is slightly quicker. So I think my PB, if just for reference in terms of like how well this run's going, my PB in this game has like a high 107 when I enter this next door.
And as you can see, combine to form the antidote to uncommon poison, which can be administered to cure such things as the venomous bite of a doxy. Now, I would like you to gather together the following ingredients in time for our next lesson. Flying seahorses, doxy eggs, toasted dragonfly thoraxes, and fairy wings. We will be using these ingredients to make the girding potion.
Thanks, Snape.
Class
Can we leave? Cheers.
I have ancient runes next. You two go to Charms. I'll meet you there.
What is she on about? I don't
Let's
like
go.
it down
So,
there. Can we go?
we have our next spell challenge now, which is Charms, and we are finally going to learn Carpe Retractum. Which in this game is not fun at all, really. It's not like the PC version where you can fly, basically. Like, it's a lot more limited. Cool. Let's go. How long is 100%? 100% is about an hour longer than any percent. The world record is 321, and any percent is 223. So it's about an hour longer. %, also, like, it adds some interesting stuff, but also some really unbearable stuff. Like owl racing.
Which is why the Carpe Retractum spell allows you to seize and pull objects within your direct line of sight towards you.
Sorry.
Miss Granger, would you be so kind as to bring Harry and Ron to the front with you? It's
Flitwick's beard looks amazing, to be fair. Like, looks great. Nice beard work from the designers. Cool, so Carpe is super long, super annoying, and it also has a trick that at the moment is not really RTA viable. So it has all the good things of a speedrun. So what we do here first is we defeat 4 torches. Because why not? So what's fun about enemy AI is that sometimes they just choose not to try and attack. So you have to hope that they attack sometimes. But sometimes Harry and Ron will literally just stand there. In my practice run the other day, Ron decided to get stuck. And he just sort of stood there and wasn't able to move at all. So I got to this room and then Ron didn't follow me. Run all the way across.
Ready?
Nice.
1, 2, 3.
Let's trigger this giant elevator. Cool.
Sorry.
I like to be Harry, because you want to be Harry after the elevator's finished, so you may as well be him now. Get up, Harry. Hermione, get out of the way. Yeah, other characters like to get in the way. A lot. Cool, nice. So here. This way. You can use the mini map to work out what direction you're running in. So once again, Hermione's the only one skinny enough to fit through that gate.
You won't forget about us, will you?
Oh no, don't fall into the water, Hermione. Cool, so here we have more water. So even if we could get the other characters through, Hermione's the only one who can freeze the water. Now the question is, will I get the pixie softlock? That's the real question. So in this next corridor coming up, there's 2 pixies, and sometimes one of them doesn't load, and it can basically means you have to save and reset the game. I think we're fine. No, okay, we got pixie softlock. God's sake. So I have to save and reset. Yeah, so basically, there's meant to be 2 pixies there, but one of them just doesn't load sometimes. Can't remember where it takes me back to. Okay, that's not too bad.
Ron, okay.
Hermione, go through the door, please. Thank you.
Hermione, can you squeeze under the door? You won't forget about us, will you?
So that loses like a minute. It's really stupid. It's completely random. There's not really any way around it. I haven't had it happen for a while. Sorry, doxies. Yeah, you are right. They are doxies. I'm sorry. I don't know my Harry Potter terminology. Okay, hopefully they both spawn. Cool, they're both there. God's sake, I got stuck against the wall. Sometimes they can get you stuck and then you can't get away from them. It's annoying because if they touch you, they poison you and then you lose health. Like at the moment I'm just losing health constantly.
I need an antidote. This poison's really affecting me. I need some antidote.
I've had it happen like 3 times now, I think, on Xbox. It's been rare, but it has happened. So here we have to defeat both these doxies. Because we need to get rid of them for... Oh, no. No. Other one. Thank you. Thank you, game. We need to get rid of those boxes to be able to do the puzzle in this room, so we have to defeat both those Doxies. We'd have to defeat this one though. This one can stay in this box. Here we can move during this cutscene. So we can just freeze this while the cutscene's playing.
Water!
No, turn the other way, Hermione. Thank you. So annoyingly, that you have to do quite a few spell swaps here. There's just not enough time. Like, literally just. That you can't... No. Cast on the ice block. Hermione, turn around. Thank you. There's just barely not enough time to freeze that waterfall before...
That was tricky.
And then get back to it in time. It unfreezes too quickly. You can actually clip out of bounds in that room, but you can't get past the gate. Which is annoying. Because if so, we could skip that entire challenge, and it's not a nice challenge. I'd love to be able to skip it. But now we're back in the main room. And for some reason, they both slide during that cutscene. Every single time. Okay, so we're going to go and press the switch, and then we have a couple of interesting skips coming up. So hopefully this all goes well. It's also possible to clip out of bounds in this like main room, but it doesn't help because you can only do it under the water, and there's nowhere to go once you're under there. You can't like up warp. If you could, you'd save a ton of time. This challenge is long.
Come over here.
Okay, so what you're meant to do here is you're meant to use Harry to press a switch. But you can just push them through the gate. The gate doesn't really exist. So you can just skip pressing a switch by pushing Hermione or Ron through that gate. Yeah, we had a soft lock with like it's basically like one that you can't really stop. Annoyingly. There's no way of like just being like, oh, I'm gonna avoid doing that so the soft lock doesn't happen. It just happens. So theoretically, you can bring Harry in here, and there's a skip you can do here that lets you keep Harry, because once you go in this room, normally you can't swap back to Harry, but you can do a super slide to get past the cutscene trigger. But unfortunately, it's very precise. Where's the other one? Where is he? There. Cool. So, we have another super slide coming up. This is basically the skip you'd do with Harry, but we can do it with Ron and Hermione, and it still saves time.
Hermione!
Right.
No, Ron, where are you going? Ron, stop moving. God's sake, Ron. There we go. So from here, we can go all the way around the edge here. There we go. And we can up warp up. So it just skips doing that entire challenge. It's really stupid. Another side effect of that, because we skipped the puzzle, this door doesn't close. Hello, thanks game. Thanks for loading. That's completely intended, yeah. Definitely intended. Okay, where is Harry? Harry's running his way up, probably. Hopefully.
Ron!
Yeah.
Call again. Let's call Nixo. Looking forward to our HP1 GBA race. Where is... Oh! I have to do that first. I'm stupid. That's what happens when you don't play this game in ages. Yeah, so the reason we hang Harry onto that rope is because if we don't, Harry will follow us into that area and then we softlock the game. Yeah. I always forget to do that. So here we can cast it from here. We only need to hit it twice. Because we can still reach this after twice. After twice? That's good English. I can do English, me. Cool, and we are finally going to get Carpe. That's another little skip to skip climbing up the stairs. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that anime. It's interesting to know.
The Carpe Retractum spellbook.
So what Carpe does in this game is barely anything. No, not that. No, on the red cap. Thank you. So it lets you pull yourself like over like this, over gaps. It lets you pull out bridges. Yeah, we got enough people for the quiz percent now. We've got that filled. It also lets you pull off these shields, but what you can do is just stand right next to them and hit them anyway. And it's quicker. It's quicker than trying to pull off their shields and then hoping they pull off, because sometimes they don't come off. Yes, Jeopardy present. I'm very excited. Very, very hyped.
Hey, Hermione, that space looks about the right size for you.
So for those who aren't aware, there's a quiz on Sunday. And it is for... There's 8 contestants. And it is all Harry Potter trivia. There's a couple of general knowledge trivias mixed in as well. But it's mainly Harry Potter trivia. And there's some about speedrunning, some about the books. It's going to be very exciting. I'm very excited for it. Oh, for God's sake. I need to pay attention to the game. Unfortunately, there is no, like, the path that you take when you carpe is completely set. Like, you can't interrupt it at all. So unfortunately, even though it looks like it could be exploitable, it's not. Nice, cool, let's go. And so now we're done, we go into another boss battle against, well, you'll see in a sec. A giant knight with some shields, because why not? And this is actually, and if you don't recognise this area, this is actually the first area we came in from. Like, this is the entrance room where we fought those torches. So, with these enemies, what you want to try and do is get them to run into your friends. Not into yourself. No, cool. If they run into your friends, they automatically rear up. So then you can hit them. If they run into you, they also do, but obviously you lose time because they run into you. Run into Ron, please. Why did that hit me and not Ron? Ron was in front of me. This is a really bad fight. I'm doing very badly in this run. Cool, okay. Where's Hermione? Run into Hermione. Missed Hermione. What's annoying is that if they don't run into anyone, their path is completely random. So you have to, like, they take a random amount of time to veer up as well. Why did that spawn on the other side? Okay, Ron, stay there. Run into Ron. Okay, that was really bad luck. They didn't run into my friends at all. I had a fight one time where literally every single time Ron or Hermione was right next to the knight, so they just veered up straight away. It was really nice. Unfortunately, I don't have it on video, but it was a very nice run. Very nice fight. Cool, and we're done. It's a very anticlimactic ending to the fight. Okay, I'm gonna find this way. And we can go. We're free to go.
House points for Gryffindor. Class dismissed.
We could go looking for potions and ingredients. That new spell might come in handy. But then again, we could all turn in. What do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I'm worn out. But we have to get off this floor, because those prefects will start doing their rounds in a few minutes.
Why? Why will they? The class has literally just ended. Why are the prefects, like, so on it? Like, they've literally only just finished the class. They have a couple of minutes to leave the class and get up to their dormitory.
The house point totals are...
That guy at the front really wants to know the score.
Slytherin, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, Gryffindor. Slytherin is in the lead.
Harry was eager to begin the anti-dementor lessons Professor Lupin had promised.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they have to go to bed, but they're allowed in the entrance hall to hear the scores of all the houses.
And it went for him. Anyway, where are you going?
Okay, so now we have Harry learning how to fight Dementors. Which means another dungeon with another spell learning.
Fascinating. Can we come along?
I don't see why not.
Can't see any reason why not. Let's go.
Cool, let's go.
Okay.
Let's all go to Harry's private lesson.
Can I disturb you for a second? Or can I read donations? I guess I can. Misha donated 2.5 euros.
So now we need to go to the 4th floor. Because for some reason, rather than like it be in his office or anything, it's in the history of magic classroom. I'm not really sure, like, logically why that would be. Oh, is Dolly talking? Oh, is Dolly talking? I can't hear anything.
Yep, sorry.
Hello. Sorry, I can hear you now.
Yeah, sorry. A complicated setup.
That's fine. I was talking, I was still like, Zolly can't hear anything. I was like, ah. Cool. Sorry, are you doing donations?
So I'm gonna read some donations now. You probably won't hear me, but Misha donated 2.5 euros, and he said, "I
I'm sure
enjoyed
it was a great
this
donation. I don't know who it was
SLS."
from, but thank you for the, what was it, $10 donation? I don't know
And
who it was.
Anima Game Kit donated 10 euros, as SLS just said, very synced up. And his stream went down. Okay, that's great.
What I want you to do is to go in there and bring back the spellbook containing the Patronus charm. You will face a boggart, a creature that assumes the form of the thing you most fear, which for you, Harry, is that of a Dementor. Good luck.
I need to push it further.
We back? Stream back?
Done it.
Back now. Cool. So all you've missed is some fun block pushing. That's all you've missed. Just pushing some blocks into some things. So now you get to see the true fun of Carpe Retractum. Well, I'm not dropping any frames, so it's not me. It's not Potterthon without technical difficulties. So now we have the fun part, which is basically just flying from platform to platform. So there's a set path we take here every single. The only thing that can go wrong in this room is there's actually, I don't know where he is. There's the Dementor flying around that can catch you. My next one is HP1 6th gen. Tomorrow at 4:40, I believe, 4:10, 4:40, somewhere around there. I'm not sure whether to take that as a compliment or not. Is it my lift? I'm Jonathan Ross. Sorry, Liam, no Tarzan swings. Cool, so what we do here is rather than use Carpe to get back, we do a Death Abuse, so we just fall off. We fall off here. And not only does that skip doing like 5 or 6 Carpes, it also skips a cutscene where a platform falls down. So it's a nice little thing we can do. Oh, please. No. Is the stream cutting in and out then? Because I'm not dropping any frames, so it's not on my end.
Just one more to go.
Billy Potterthon 7. Yes. Cool, so that is just this entire room. It's really dull. Really dull, really pointless. But we're done. Now we just need to learn Expecto Patronum. Hopefully it sorts itself out.
Spellbook.
Hopefully we can find like a fix. Cool. So we only have to hit it 3 times here. Later on we have to hit them a lot more. Fun. But there we just have to hit it 3 times.
Harry. Harry.
I heard my dad.
James.
Yeah. Why?
Cool, so the question
You know
is,
my dad, did you?
will I go for Draconifor's skip? And the answer to that is no. It's a stupid skip. Barely saves any time and is really hard. Not doing it.
Professor Snape busy. I'm afraid you will have to make your own way back. Try not to be seen.
You know, I can't stand Snape. Always there when you don't want him, and setting.
It's always on my runs.
homework tasks.
Same as last year.
Don't be so sure, Ron. Harry, I was studying these books. I think we can get our hands on some fairy wings in Hogsmeade.
Hogsmeade? But how are we going to get there before the next potions class?
The map shows
How?
that there's a
How do we get there
secret
before the next potions
under
class?
The statue of the humpback witch on the 3rd floor. What do you think?
So so we use Hermione here to get a spell book.
Got it!
It is actually possible to skip this spell book by doing a couple of super slide out of bounds stuff. However, it saves like barely any time and is really hard. We can save a bit of time here by just burning it and then leaving Hermione trapped in there. Don't need to bring her out. I'm not dropping any frames, it's not me. I've not dropped any. So to skip that spell, we'd have to skip this tapestry, and there's another one. Super slide to skip both of them, but it's really precise and annoying. I am local recording, but this isn't going to be a world record anyway, so it's not a huge deal. No, I swapped too many times. It's my fault. You want to be Hermione coming into this room. Quick strat here.
Be really careful.
Come on, come on, come on. Cool, okay. So there's just enough time after casting Flipendo with Hermione to get to the door with Harry. Like, it's really precise.
Let's go to the statue. We're only going to get caught if we wait around here.
I'm gonna play it safe here. You can theoretically get past those when they're in that position, but it's quite tight timing.
Descendio.
It's always on my runs. Does it make sense if I restart my stream? Does that make sense? Okay, cool. But I won't. Cool. Oh, okay, I wasn't looking at the screen at all. So now we are at the Shrieking Shack. And obviously, we took a secret entrance to get here, so obviously, for some reason, all the Slytherins are here. Of course. Because why not?
You could really get hurt.
Makes sense. I always press the wrong button.
Watch out! Oops!
Harry!
I've been hurt!
Run!
Watch out! Watch out!
I'm really hurt!
That's the way!
Where was Ron off to? Come on. This is awful. This has been an awful fight.
Useless Potter!
Can you keep... Goodness sake.
Look out, Harry! Get it together, Weasley! Haven't you learned anything, Weasley?
Okay, that was terrible. No, I am taking a chocolate frog for Harry.
Get back to Hogwarts as quickly as we can. The Dementors will be patrolling Hogsmeade soon, and it's not safe to hang around the Shrieking Shack.
Gotta fix this. Ow.
What have you done? You're in the way!
Did you have a better idea? Just one more! That's it!
Yeah, so you can grab that frog while you're waiting for the cooldown after grabbing the last pixie. Not pixie, fairy. It's a fairy.
Harry!
You want Harry to be quite high health here, because now we're going to fight some Dementors.
Hermione! Break down that fence!
And they just suck your health, like, if they're near you.
Keep them away! Keep them away!
So now we just have this auto-scroller. So the first taste we'll get of a Dementor auto-scroller. There's a couple in the game. Just want to keep hitting them until the fence is destroyed. It reminds me of, there's a mission in like the Chronicles of Narnia, I think, where you have to do a similar thing like this. No, it's not. It's in Lord of the Rings. Like where you have to keep them away while they do something in Lord of the Rings. Luckily, your health is like high enough that like, you can basically do nothing. Well, you can't, but you can basically you can do like the bare minimum and still survive this. Narnia is a great game. I really want to play that again at some point. Lord of the Rings is also a great game, but that one less so. Yeah, so like I said, this is literally just an auto-scroller. Like you can't actually do anything to speed this up. And you can't run around because they put up invisible walls. So it's like you can't just run away from them. You have to fight them. Cool, nice. So that is Shrieking Shack done. Back to Hogwarts. I think I kept them away. So what you're meant to do here is you're meant to go up the stairs and like do a Draconophores statue thing. But you can literally just do this. Like, Snape doesn't catch you. Snape's too busy looking at the wall. Cool. This is the Xbox version. So this is Xbox, GameCube, and PS2 are this version. It's the same version. It's a really stupidly easy skip. Like that they just missed.
Out late tonight, aren't we?
Cool, so now we have the fun of security trolls. So what the game expects you to do is you're meant to grab stink bombs. I can't remember what they're actually... Dung bombs. You're meant to grab dung bombs from around the school or from bookcases or from wherever. And you're meant to use them to distract the... trolls. However, you can just do this.
We'll stay here. You go on.
You can just flipendo them and move around them. And it just saves time over grabbing the dung bombs and throwing the dung bombs and waiting for the trolls to move. It's a lot more precise than it looks, though. Like, they can catch you quite easily.
Neville? What's wrong?
I lost my list of passwords and Sirius Black must have found it. And Sir Cadogan just let him in.
So this is another cutscene where the... Well, I don't know who it would be on, like, the animated, the programmers or whoever. Whoever designed this cutscene decided just to be lazy. So watch as they enter... Where are their legs? No legs. Ah! Let's not bother, like, having them climb up the step. They can just walk through the wall.
What a night. I'm sorry. I just want to turn in.
Yeah, me too.
Cool, so we're done. My leg!
For many nights, no one slept well. Gryffindor Tower feared the return of...
Why is Hermione in the boys' dormitory?
Rooms were searched and security was tightened, but the elusive Black remained.
I think that's the logic with a lot of games like this. Like, you only have to make a game that's good enough to, like, appeal. You don't have to make a super amazing game because people will buy it because it's Harry Potter.
That cat of yours decides to slip out too.
So some of the Harry Potter... That's why things like 7.1 and 7.2, they didn't have to worry about them being these super amazing games because people were going to buy them no matter what. Like, Harry Potter fans were always going to buy those games, even if they were absolute trash.
We really need to collect some doxy eggs.
I need Carpe, so I'll just equip it now. Don't get in my way. So once again, we're going to break Harry's legs, because Harry doesn't need legs. Something I don't think I've actually mentioned yet in this entire run somehow. The other skill that Harry has that the other two don't have is Harry can jump. So anytime there's a gap, only Harry can get across it. And it's also the reason that Harry's the only one who can do this skip, because Harry's the only one who can jump down.
Yes?
Hermione?
On my way!
No, don't. Okay, whatever. Good enough. Harry doesn't need legs or tailbones, or he has magic. He can just, like, Wingardium Leviosa himself and float himself around.
Ron, I don't think Harry needs reminding.
Actually, that's a good question. Could you, like, stand on a book and then Wingardium Leviosa the book and then lift yourself up off the ground? Interesting. J.K. Rowling, explain. Okay, so now we have the second potion ingredients grabbing. We need to get some seeds off this tree. There's some seahorses and there's some dragons that we're going to burn to a crisp. So for this, you want to stand far enough away that you don't trigger the dock seeds, but you can still target the seeds. That should work.
I really need some antidote to this poison. A doxy egg.
Oh,
Just one more and
okay,
we'll have
that's
enough.
fine. Apparently I grabbed it.
Help! This poison's affecting me. I need some antidote.
So, fun fact for that, if you are pulling a seed towards you and you get hit by a doxy while you're pulling the seed doesn't trigger. So, if you get hit enough times, you can actually cause it so that you can't grab any more seeds and you have to reset the area. It's really stupid.
This poison's really affecting me. I need some antidote.
No, screw you, Ron and Hermione. I'm not helping you.
I've been poisoned. I need some antidote.
Look at all this water. This game's fun casually, actually, to be fair. Okay, Hermione's dead.
I need some antidote to this poison.
Cool, so this
Some antidote.
is one of the stupidest parts of the game, because this minigame counts as a separate map, and what that means is that we could do a route where we end here and then Death Abuse to get back to the door. However, because the game counts this as a separate map, it counts this as the respawn trigger point,
Just one more and we'll have enough.
which means that if we Death Abuse after this, we get sent back to here as opposed to the front door. So annoyingly, we can't do the cool route.
Those are flying seahorses in the lake.
Okay, so hopefully the geometry on these stairs is a bit weird. There's invisible walls all over the place, like that. So what that means is that because that minigame is on a separate map, we have to run all the way back. Like literally all the way back. It's super far. Yeah, HP2 PS2 had a lot of this to explore. Different from Xbox and GameCube. On PS2 you could actually walk around the grounds. So now we have a bit of randomness here. What we want is we want Hermione to have followed us so that she gets here quick enough. The reason we don't run with Hermione is because she's super slow and they run faster if they try to follow you. So hopefully Hermione's fairly quick. Is that Hermione at the front there? It is.
These are
Not.
dragonflies. But
Yeah, so like you see there, Hermione is a lot quicker when it's not you controlling her. That's not going to work. Okay. Can I hit them both at the same time? Nice.
That's it.
Cool. That was decent-ish. What's funny is that because Hermione and Ron get poisoned by the Doxies when you're ramming seeds, if you go too quickly, like after killing the dragonflies, if you move too quickly, Hermione will just die from the flame. Yeah, so this is why it being a separate map is stupid. You have to run all the way back.
What are we doing hanging around here?
How much do you lose? I'm not sure. Like, quite a few minutes. I'm pretty sure that between like GameCube and Xbox is like 2 to 3 minutes. So I feel like PS2 would be another like 5 or 6, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe not as much as that. Hermione, thank you for dying. We have all the dragon eggs now. The only game we've timed loading differences on is HP2. And we know that for GameCube and Xbox, for Chamber of Secrets on GameCube and Xbox, GameCube loses 13.5 minutes to Xbox on loads. Fun fact. No, Jinx Quidditch is literally the next thing.
And this leaves you with the girding potion, which may be consumed to increase one's endurance for a considerable number of weeks.
If you ever ask a question that's can someone explain, the answer is always magic. That's how the games work.
That the maximum dosage is no more than 2 of these vials. Class dismissed.
Cool, okay. So, there's a really funny thing that happens here. I keep saying that about this game. This one's actually a bit weird. So, once this cutscene's finished, you will be Hermione.
Draco, hang on.
You have control of both Hermione and Ron. For some reason, when this starts, Ron's spawn point is placed like, just slightly out of bounds. So if you swap to Ron as soon as this finishes, if we swap to Ron after the cutscene finishes, just wait for a bit.
You took your time. I've just heard that Slytherin have swapped the Quidditch ball crate for one with jinxed balls in it. We've got to tell Professor Dumbledore.
We can't just go telling tales and expect him to stop the match.
It's the best part where they're like, we've done this evil plan.
Put the real crate.
Let's not talk about it. Okay, wait, let's see. So,
And see if we can get into the courtyard.
Ron's out of bounds. Killed Ron. It's fine, Ron's back. For some reason, after that cutscene, Ron, his spawn point is always out of bounds at that point. So, where have the Slytherins hid these balls? Where would they put them? Like, where could they hide them that no one would ever find them? I know. Literally, right in front of the front door to the entire castle.
The only way to get to it is to go out
That
into
makes
the grounds
sense.
and then fly in. Or something.
Let's steal these balls so we win the match, and then just hang them out in front of the castle for everyone to see. No, they don't know Carpe. Only Harry knows Carpe, and he's run off to the Quidditch match, so they can't, unfortunately.
How are we going
You
to
can
get
skip
into
this
that
cutscene,
courtyard?
but it's not faster.
To find Buckbeak. Let's go.
You can skip it by doing super sliding. You can. There's certain triggers where if you super slide another character over a trigger, it doesn't trigger, because some triggers are only activated by you and not by the AI.
Hurry up. We're going to lose the match.
I love how Hermione says hurry up, but I'm in front of her. Hermione, you hurry up. Look how far away you are. Seriously.
So, fly
And
to
this
that
is like the sole
courtyard
reason they had to
and
make Hermione be able to run the to be able to go on Buckbeak. So you could go and get this chest. Come on. Okay. Cool. So what you're meant to do here is you're meant to use glaciers to make a block appear. But you can just skip that. Thanks, game. It's literally the most pointless thing, and was not noticed for a very long time, like an embarrassingly long amount of time.
Got it. Now to go to the Quidditch Stadium.
Where is it? There. Cool. Let's go to the Quidditch Stadium. Knock myself off the wall there. Yeah, it was honestly just like a stupid amount of time before that was found. It's so simple. Cool. Let's go to Quidditch.
Ron and Hermione arrived just
So then we have
in
more
time to
Quidditch,
show
which we
the
don't do.
to Professor Dumbledore, who quietly removed the jinxes from the
There's a puddle of water in that section where you grab the Quidditch crate that you're meant to freeze to use as a block to get up to the dragon. However, the ledge is low enough that you can just walk into the ledge and just pull yourself up without the frozen block. So now we need to be careful here.
What's the matter with Hagrid?
So there's a an almost consistent hard lock you can do at this point.
Oh, Hagrid. What can we do?
If you end day too soon after this cutscene, the game just won't progress to the next day. It'll just crash, basically. So we're going to wait. We're going to be very safe and wait a bit longer than we would normally, just to make sure we don't crash the game.
Hagrid's right. There's really nothing we can do. We should turn in.
This game has so many, like, here's a puzzle, but you don't have to actually do the puzzle. I love that Hagrid just stood there. What I think happened there was that, so when you collect the potion ingredients and come back, Hagrid is stood there.
he's in the lead.
And I think they just forgot to remove him from that lair from that point of the game. So they just left him there. So he's just stood there in the middle of the
Harry, Ron, and
ceremony.
Hermione paced the Gryffindor common room, worried about Hagrid.
They're going to execute Buckbeak tonight.
We've got to go and see Hagrid. He can't just sit there on his own waiting for the executioner.
You're right. Let's go.
Cool, let's go. We're nearly at the end of the game now. We're into the final stretch. Unfortunately, the English is hard apparently. They've locked the door, so we have to go back through the trolls backwards. Okay, that was my fault. I went forward too early.
Password?
Hagrid needs us. Come on, let's go.
Shut up, Ron. Okay, that was my fault. I let go of forward, but I slid because I cast Flipendo at the same time.
Wasting too much time.
This is a lot harder than it looks. Cool.
Over here!
Be right there.
Okay, so you can do another stair jump here. However, it doesn't save nearly as much time as it does on the other ones.
Hey, Hermione!
Because obviously they follow you down the stairs here and there's no other people. And also, you want to try and keep your health for the next sections coming up. Where are the stairs? There they are. I don't know why they took so long to come down. I mean, I dropped out of, I think, like, Potterthon 3 or 2. If I remember correctly. You can't use Ron because you can't jump. It's literally just Harry. Ron and Hermione are both useless. Oh yeah, you can do that, can't you? That makes sense.
We need to go.
But then I don't know, at that point, would it be, like... Would the falling actually be faster? That's the question. Probably. Need to time that, actually. Nice, Ron's useful. No, that's mean. He can also find secret passages.
Ron and Hermione arrived at Hagrid's hut. The executioner came to seal Buckbeak's fate.
He's here. Don't let him see you.
Buckbeak, how could they?
Yeah, Anime is going to get the world record back, like, in the next couple of weeks. Very easily.
Come back. Ah, gotcha.
Ah! Oh no.
Ron was dragged into the Whomping Willow.
So now time for what I consider one of the worst parts of this game. This section, I will, like, till the day I die, they did not playtest this section of the game at all. I can guarantee that for like £1,000,000, they did not play test this section whatsoever. Okay, I think that's all of them. No, oh, no, it is. There we go. So, this room, in particular, is so well designed to the point that... Let me just... Sorry. Once you pull this bridge out, Harry's default AI, he will not come and help you. He basically just sort of gets himself stuck on the other side of the room. He refuses to help. Look, he'll just walk all the way back and not help whatsoever. He'll cast a Pendo from the other side of the room. Sometimes. He's feeling like it. But he basically has no help. Cool. It's honestly like so many sections in this game where that happens. In this level, sorry, where that happens. Oh, for mistake.
Try and keep out of the way. You need some antidote. I really need some antidote.
Gonna do some potion drinking, because why not?
I need some antidote. I've been poisoned.
Okay. Need Reparo. Not as far as I'm aware, Solly. Trifecta, 100% trifecta is not possible on 6th gen at the moment because one of the games isn't possible 100%. So unfortunately, it's not going to happen for a while. Yeah. This has not been a good Whomping Willow. I need to heal Harry.
That's great. Thanks.
Cool. Harry running with an empty bottle in his hand, because why not?
The tunnel from the Whomping Willow led into the Shrieking Shack.
Drinking potions in this game is weird.
Discovered that the black dog
because you can
was in
share them with
fact
others.
Sirius Black, and that Black had
Yeah,
not been
I didn't even
trying
realise
to
that was a
murder
thing.
him,
That's
but
literally
had
the first time I've ever seen that
hunted
happen.
down Peter Pettigrew, the man that had truly betrayed.
Didn't realise that
Harry's
was possible.
parents to Lord Voldemort.
No! He can go to Azkaban.
Cool, so I hope you haven't forgotten
As they
Ooh,
marched Pettigrew to
thanks,
Hogwarts,
game.
the full
Thanks for that
moon
hitbox.
rose,
That skybox.
Professor Lupin
Um,
transformed into a werewolf.
I hope you haven't forgotten the best movement in this entire game, because it is coming up again. You should all get very excited for it.
In the confusion, Pettigrew escaped.
Sirius!
Do something, Harry! Please!
Stephen Fry being here is super useful. Cool. So we have that cutscene, another loading screen. Yeah, can't forget the best movement in the entire game. Dragging a character a really long distance. So this is potentially the worst one in the game because these Dementors are RNG. So if they attack you or not is completely random. Which is why we heal ourselves before we leave the Whomping Willow. Because if we don't, we can sometimes get hit enough times that we die. And then we have to do this again. Okay, that's 3. I think the minimum I've had here is 2. Also, like Anime said, this is completely pointless because what we do is we just drag him down the beach. It's not even a beach, it's like a shorefront. I don't think it counts as a beach. And then we just dump him on the ground anyway. Like literally, it's not like we're like, oh, let's save him. We're literally like, there we go. So now this is another auto-scrollery section. Oh, I got a serious glitch. Sometimes Sirius can just get stuck in the air. I don't know if that's a glitch or if that's just intended. I always think it's a glitch because it's weird. So here we just want to keep hitting them. There's like just a time limit here. So you just have to wait for it to like basically count down. Does he? Well, that's cool. Yeah, Harry's using the power of an empty Wigan World Vial to defeat the We've discovered reverse bottle adventure in Harry Potter. We can glitch our inventory. Exciting. Stupid that that's a thing.
Dad?
The run is nearly done. There's only a few things left in the run.
Now captured, Sirius Black awaited his fate on the 7th floor of the West Tower. Harry and Hermione awoke in the hospital wing, eager to explain to Dumbledore what had happened.
Professor! Black's telling the truth!
He's innocent, Professor!
I believe everything you say.
I believe you completely.
I can do.
Literally just like exposition, plot, exposition, plot. Get everything in there.
Hermione
Get these
understood
cutscenes out of the way.
immediately. Dumbledore was giving them permission to use the time turner she'd been using all year to attend several lessons at once.
There we go.
Going to use the time turner to go back 3 hours, rescue Buckbeak, and then save Sirius.
So do we get to go and like rescue Buckbeak? Do we get to do like a cool thing to go and get Buckbeak out of being killed?
Having rescued
Of course not.
Harry and
It's a
Hermione
3-line
visualized the
sentence.
bush
Having
beside
rescued
the latch. The
Buckbeak.
moment drew closer to Black's
3-word
capture by the
sentence.
Dementors. Harry's mind wrestled with the vision of the shadowy figure and the ghostly creature that he had seen by the lakeside.
I know it sounds crazy, but I think it was my dad.
Harry, you mustn't be seen.
It was time for the rescue.
Harry,
to
you must
appear.
be seen.
No one was coming to help this time. And then
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like it definitely was rushed to the end.
he had seen himself.
I've got to save them.
This bit is awful, to be fair. Still got a potion vial in his hand. So the Dementor positions here is completely RNG. And you want to not hit any of them. If you hit them, you can't get to the Dementor in time. Oh, okay. Apparently that... Sure. Apparently that didn't count as hitting any of those Dementors. Every Dementor you hit as well is a, it means that your thing lasts less time. So a really stupid final part. Okay, hit him. Sometimes that happens. It's great. It's well designed. It's a really stupid end to the run. This is not a good fight. There we go. Nice. Cool, so hopefully we should still finish Underestimate, maybe. Is there a way of casting it off early then? Like, is there a button you can press? So I didn't realise that was a thing. Like I said, I'm great at this, like, know everything about this game. That's why I'm running it in a marathon.
How much longer before time?
It's like 3-4 minutes. Actually, maybe slightly less than that.
Yeah, I think I'll be underestimate for sure.
Cool. We're literally like, yeah, this is like, we have to fly to Sirius and then we're basically done. Oh, anime says a minute. So, maybe slightly less.
Oh, a minute.
Fly, Harry, fly!
Let's see. Is Harry...
Yeah,
oh,
Wizard's telling... Yeah.
Still has his potion in
Wizard's
his hand.
telling you to wait until 2:30 on the dot to stop. Are you gonna do that, SLS?
I want to go to sleep. I want to finish as soon as possible. It's probably going to happen anyway, because the ending's really annoying to time.
How can I ever thank?
Get on!
Just get on, there's not much time. The Dementors are waiting. Coming.
We'll see each other again. You truly are your
This end is just so... It's like, just everything happens at once. It's crazy rushed. Yeah, this is definitely going to be like a 2:27. Well, I don't know how accurate the timer is, but close enough. The movie's coming out soon. Go!
Behind what had happened the night that Sirius, Buckbeak, and Pettigrew had vanished, except Harry, Hermione, Professor Dumbledore, and Ron.
I trust that you will make the best of the last day of term to say your goodbyes.
Yeah, so we're basically done now. We have to wait for this cutscene, and then we have to talk to Dumbledore, and then it's the end of the run.
I'll remind you that we will.
And sometimes this can actually screw you over, because sometimes talking to Dumbledore doesn't work consistently. It's great. It's really well designed. Well designed game.
When you're ready to see who's
Okay, time's coming up soon. And time. Cool. That's it. That's the end of the run.
And now
A great ending.
we reach the end of another eventful school year together. So
That was an okay run actually. That wasn't too bad.
and their significant
And it
contribution.
showed off some interesting stuff in the game.
It gives me great pleasure.
But yeah, that is HP3 Xbox. There's a few cool skips, some cool movement, some slow characters, some stupid dialogue. I don't tend to run this game as much as I would have done because anime hasn't come back yet. But once anime comes back, I'll probably run it more. But yeah, so I'm finished. I'm not sure what's next. Anyone know?
So coming up is HP2 PS1 with Whip CPL, and you'll be running 100%.
Ooh, nice, exciting. I'm actually sad I have to go to bed. I'd like to watch that.
Alrighty, thank you very much, SLS. So we're gonna cut stream for a little bit to switch restreamers, and we'll be right back.